hello. So this video is where I dropped into Gur's stream. Again, if you didn't know, the last Rumble was in Gur's stream. And again, this one isn't really a Rumble, but it is the first place that I learnt about a debate. It looks like an impromptu debate, unmoderated debate between a guy that I admire, Grayson, and a guy that I have blocked, Redefine Living, who is... I don't know how you can say it. He's very opinionated, very self-assured, and very, very quick to really press on you his beliefs. So I blocked him on YouTube after a few exchanges where he was just being a jerk, really. And Grayson, who I really respect, Grayson's got a lot of biology information and has done a biology degree, I believe, in sort of the biology field, which I appreciate. And he's a great at debate. He's debated Hovind, he's debated a lot of people. So I went to Gur's room and we're kind of discussing this debate. And I want to post this one because what I sort of discussed was how I address the presup. If you're unfamiliar with presuppositional apologetics, it's basically saying, I'm going to assume that God is the necessary precondition for things like morality or reason and logic or so sort of any intelligibility, so any understanding flows from God. And then they just keep asserting that. So Saiten Bruggencate or Darth Dawkins would be emblematic of these presuppositionalist apologetics, as opposed to the evidentialists who sort of, they more take the tack of, okay, well, we have this evidence, Bible of God, and we have these things. This is more, God definitely is this, and I'm not going to alter my position at all, which is a kind of a weird one and not really touched upon in philosophical circles much, because it's a sort of non-starter of an argument. If they just say, hey, God's the necessary precondition, you just say, well, I reject that. That's it. Like that's where it sort of ends. But these presups are usually, instead of taking I'm going to rationally present something, I'm just going to be more forceful. So this is more a conversation about Grayson's debate and how I address those topics, those presuppositional topics, which is important because my next video, I'll actually go into Praise's room and we'll be putting some of them into practice, like realizing, hey, how do you deal with somebody that says, well, you can't even reason without God? So where does logic come from? Where does this thing come from? Where does that thing, sort of this whole idea. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and I'll have a follow-up for you in Praise's room, talking to the actual people that want to purport this is a decent argument, which it's not. So I hope you enjoy, and I will see
have evidence to support them. So I would point...
Mark. Oh, hi, Mark.
Hello.
What do you think about this
Hello.
so far, this debate?
Oh, it's fascinating. Like, Grayson's doing such a good job. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna drop a like in this comment after this, because on his channel, because that is such good work, and he's remaining calm, and
yeah,
it must be hard. Like the smug smiles from this guy, like he's not presenting anything to back his worldview, and then sort of smiling like because he says it's it would be maddening, quite frankly, and I'm very familiar with that sort of attitude. So yeah. I also want to say, and thanks you so much for having me on, I really appreciate it. But if Conversations for Christians, if you want to come on, will be really nice, very polite, and just have a conversation about it. I'm not sure if you are a presuppositionalist or an evidentialist. From your comments, it looks like you're an evidentialist, but maybe you can sort of present something where Redefine Living hasn't, because he is a presuppositionalist. So as much as he's sort of avoiding saying it, it is sort of just a presupposition that God exists.
Yeah, because like with evidentialists, I respect them so much more than presuppositionalists, because it's like, okay, like it's in the name. You're following the evidence as opposed to just presupposing anything counts as evidence.
Well, we all presuppose stuff, and that
I
is
agree.
something
I
that
agree.
he was getting at, kind of thing, and I sort of I kind of get it, like I get it, but
would you say the only thing, maybe there's many things, but would you say the one thing you don't presuppose is your consciousness?
well, the one thing is don't presuppose is your consciousness.
I can understand experience,
probably,
but maybe not consciousness itself.
I think your consciousness is doing the presupposing.
That's
well, yeah, and so there's sort of a problem there that and sort of, so the whole I think therefore I am is a good start, but you're sort of presupposing the I in that you actually are a separate, and your consciousness is this kind of thing.
Well, okay, no, I mean, I understand that, because like with me, like for me personally, and tell me what you think about this. I feel like the only thing that I can know for certain is that I am conscious, but what the I is that is conscious, I don't know. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I would say, I'm a brain and a body and all that stuff. But outside of that, sure. I do feel like it does get into presuppositionalism to some form or degree.
Well, you can sort of get to sort of brain and body through just, empiricism, basically presupposing that your senses are, describing reality. And that's what I wanted to point out. This kind of stuff, what I would do is lean into it. Basically go, well, here's my presuppositions. You can reject any of them you want. But the problem with rejecting some of the presuppositions you make, like you reject the senses, for instance, your sort of thing is then, well, why are you expecting me to hear you? Why are you expecting to communicate with me? Because if you're saying, hey, I shouldn't believe them, then why are you trying to communicate with me at all? You obviously believe that my senses will receive what you've got to say. And this is the whole idea about a shared reality. If you want to, sort of burn the chess table, if you will, and sort of go, well, how can you justify rationality? Well, then why are we even having a conversation? Because without rationality, there's no basis for any kind of understanding between two people. So you obviously think that there's a rationality to be had, and that your senses are receiving what I am saying. So you're expecting me to use the senses you're denying me to hear you present your arguments, which you're denying logic. So they can't deny it. What they then do is say, well, that all comes from God. At which point you just say, well, I don't make any statement on where it comes from. I don't make a claim on where it comes from. I just presuppose that they are. That's it. That's all you need. And as long as they agree to it, then those presuppositions are justified. And in fact, by expecting you to use them, they're kind of justifying them themselves, like by actually appealing to your senses to hear you, or appealing to your sense of rationality to understand what they are saying. They're kind of justifying that you presupposed them in the first place.
B says, I saw you unmuted for a minute.
I was just going to say that's funny that Mark thinks that precepts have conversations.
Well, I mean, I'm using that term very, very charitably there. Yeah. Very, very charitably, as in, well, I mean, this is a conversation. It's a pretty weird conversation. Yeah, no worries, conversations. I'd love to talk to you if you do like conversation. I mean, I love talking about this stuff. But yeah, you do you, buddy. You do you.
And welcome, Corey, aka Gur number 2 or Gur 2.
I'm from the future. What you talking about?
Am I still an atheist in the future?
Yes.
Oh.
God bless me.
If you want to know about your future, I would tell you.
Do I ever make it big on YouTube?
$50.
Yes, but it takes you 10 years.
God damn it.
Only 10? Wow, I would have put it at 20 or 30.
That means I only have 5 years to go. I think I've been
You've been on
YouTube
YouTube
for 5 years.
5 years?
I think so. I have to check.
Wow.
I believe it was 2018.
You're
But I've
old,
only been
dude.
doing streams for 1.5 years.
Yes,
Oh,
you will
that's pretty
finally
good,
get your first paycheck of $1,000 in 5 years.
Thank God, praise Allah. And welcome Leo and Patrick.
I'm a little disappointed actually in Grayson because if I heard correctly, he was implying that you can't prove negatives, which is a very wrong, which is a
I was
very
waiting for
wrong
Leo to jump in
thing
that.
to say. Which is a very wrong thing to say because negating the consequent, which is of the form P implies Q, not Q, therefore not P. I just proved logically a negative, not P. That is a negative. That symbol is negation. And this is a valid rule of inference that can prove the negation of P, i.e. prove a negative. Yes, you can prove negatives. This is done all the time in logic.
I think what he was trying to say is because he's not making a positive knowledge claim, right? He's not claiming to know that a God does not exist, if that makes sense, right? He's not making that claim. He's just saying, hey, you're making the claim, prove it to me. So if he's not making that claim of the negative, like if he's not making that negation, then he doesn't have that burden of proof.
That's correct.
So I think that's what he meant. Like, I don't have a burden of proof because I'm not making a negative claim.
Well, I do think that's what he was saying, and but Grayson did say at least twice that I counted that you can't prove a negative, as a general statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, it also
I
depends
understand
on
you
what
mean
the
not
idea of proof is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he probably didn't mean it in the logical sense, but I have to be honest.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, it's a phrase that we should probably not use.
I agree.
Well, I mean,
I agree.
Oftentimes, I really don't know what people mean when they say, well, you can't prove a negative because, well, I'm just not sure. Like, I think that there are phrases out there that maybe like the average person might understand. I'm not the average person. I don't understand it. And if I don't understand what somebody is saying, then I'm going to ask them to clarify so that I can follow along with whatever it is.
That's logical. Leo. We know you're special, Leo. We got it. We know. Everybody knows.
Yeah, I am, but not in a good way.
No, it's more precise. And look, there's nothing wrong with precision, especially in debates and where you're putting ideas up against one another. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Grayson may have been speaking colloquially. If he's in a debate, we should sort of say, hey, I shouldn't have to prove the non-existence of something that's unfalsifiable, because that's not possible, right? Proving the non-existence of something unfalsifiable, by definition, it's unfalsifiable.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
What do you think about that, Leo?
Well, I would agree with that, but I would say I don't think that the existence of God is unfalsifiable. Re the argument from evil. Well, I think there are ways.
Grayson may think it's unfalsifiable. I don't know what Grayson's stance on this would be.
Yeah, most people hold to that idea, which I mean, I don't think it's necessarily wrong, because not everybody really cares about the problem of evil. So,
well, this is like true. A deism kind of God is unfalsifiable.
It depends on how you. It's depending on what you're talking about.
Just a sec, Gur. You're so rude, Gur. I'm never speaking to you again, Gur.
Fuck, what is the other Gur?
I don't care. I love how he's got
you in 2 years.
The branding symbol over it as well. That's awesome. But like if your God doesn't impact the world in any way and doesn't have any kind of physical or any kind of touch upon reality in any way and just exists in another space, I don't see how that would not be unfalsifiable. That would be unfalsifiable. Sorry, Gertuko.
Well, okay. I forgot what I was thinking.
You just say, have you seen yourself smile before, Mark?
Checkmate.
Have I seen myself smile before? Yeah?
Evidence
He
of
literally
God.
used
Checkmate, atheists.
Sam
Yeah, no,
literally
that is
said,
one of the
"You're smelling, therefore
worst.
God."
That is one of the worst arguments I've ever. That's worse than look at the trees. Like it's like,
Which argument?
what the hell? You might as well say, "Hey, have you ever ripped a huge fart?" Then, yeah, that's proof of God.
Yes, that's
That actually proves to the flying spaghetti monster.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I mean, you
Right.
see Mark's bald head. I mean,
carbs.
boom, therefore God.
Right.
It all makes sense now.
A head this smooth could not exist without God. Checkmate, atheist.
That is true. I'm a believer now.
I'm a believer.
I was just about to sing that.
Right,
I'm a
Not a
believer.
trace.
I saw Mark's head.
Of
Now I'm
doubt
a
in my
believer.
But Grayson's doing an amazing job of not following him down that sort of rabbit hole of,
Yep.
I've got to justify every single little thing. He's basically going, no, this is you
Right.
demonstrating your worldview. And he's right. Like, what my worldview has no impact on what evidence you can present or not, right? Like, I could believe that the stars came down from the heavens and formed a human out of, Soylent Green and plant matter. It doesn't matter what my worldview is. That does not change what evidence you're presenting for yours. And the fact that he is so fixated on what Grayson believes means that he doesn't have any evidence for his. All he wants to do is say, hey, yours is wrong, therefore mine is right. And nothing works that way.
Right.
We don't say, hey, yours is wrong, therefore my God. Like, he's trying to create a God of the gaps almost. Like, if you can't explain rationality, or you have evidence for rationality, or evidence for even every little thing that you think, then my worldview is right because I have an explanation. No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Precepts
I
where
think
Christian losers go to retire.
I think I would agree with that one's worldview is not really going to have a bearing on the validity or the cogency of some evidence provided for some other worldview. But I do think that we should be careful, because I do think that people's worldviews informs the kind of evidence they're willing to consider evidence, because it is our worldviews that are going to help inform the priors that we use. When you consider evidence for something, nobody considers it independent of like priors and background beliefs and background knowledge and biases. Everybody does. And those things are informed by your worldview. And so those can change how you look at evidence. Mark's right that it doesn't change anything about the evidence, but I think it does change how people look at that evidence and how they're going to consider it in their worldview. So not like Mark wasn't wrong on anything that he said, but just to add a little caveat there.
Yeah. But Leo, there's some priors and things that we all subscribe to, right? We all accept that, that we're living in a shared reality that is based upon materialistic properties, or
unless you're an idealist.
But not based on. Sorry, I misspoke. Leo, mercy, I misspoke. That material things do exist in our reality in some way, either as a sort of independent property or a property of an ideal. Like, we all agree that the physical world is around us, except I guess an idealist.
An idealist.
But we don't have to worry about them, Mark. They're not important.
They're not
the
real
stupid
people.
thing is, idealists go through their life like avoiding traffic and eating things. There's not you basically accept that reality is around you and act as if it
That
were.
might be a bit of a straw man, to be fair, maybe slightly.
Yeah, but wasn't Mark
What,
trying to
they
be a
don't
bit
eat?
facetious as well?
Well, maybe
What?
so. It may
I
be
don't
so.
see how that's a straw man.
Well,
Explain it to
because
me.
you could say, well, you don't believe in free will, therefore you don't have to look both ways when you cross the street.
Idealists don't technically reject the existence of matter or material things. What they say is that material things are not more fundamental than mind or mind things.
Right.
But then they all agree that material stuff exists.
Yeah, but that's not the question the idealist is trying to answer. It's which is more fundamental, matter or mind.
Right.
That's the
I don't care about that. That's not the question.
Well, then
to address
don't
Mark's
talk to an idealist.
to address Mark's point, he said we all agree that material exists, and then yes, he was 100% right then.
Yes, I was providing a joke when I said, except for I was just some
God
playful
damn it,
banter.
Ken.
Damn it, Leo! Stop trying to be funny.
Yeah, I'm
Pat,
fucking
come-
horrible
Well,
at it.
you know, that's
Except
the
in
whole
very
point,
rare
that-
instances. I'm sorry, Mark.
I mean, no, that's the whole point, that we all sort of live in this shared reality, and you know, except maybe delusional people, but I think we can, you know, safely
Trump
exclude
supporters.
them.
Sorry.
Well, you know, and so some of our priors, we have to find common ground with rationality and
I agree
you know,
with
our
that,
senses and
Mhm.
things like that. Like, yeah, I just, you know, this whole idea that they have, like the claim that they have to be based in God, that's what we want the evidence for, and it just doesn't come. It's just, well, how do you know reality exists? Basically, well, you think it exists too, so you just think it comes from God.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's pretty much what they're saying, essentially.
But I think I don't know if
trying to
Mark
say it.
was trying to make this point, but I think regardless, it kind of underlies what he's saying, or at least I think it could. Maybe not underlie, but is, you know, to piggyback off of what he said, I guess, is the idea that we do all have like some set of shared priors and shared beliefs, to whatever extent, and that again, this is something that I think could be implied by what Mark said, is that we should try, when we're like having discussions or debates or arguments with people, that we should try to connect with them with respect to those shared priors, hopefully to bridge that gap and actually have a discussion with each other. Is when we start from where we both agree, we can build a foundation and we can
Commonality.
start the discussion from there.
I don't know. I just try to make them sound stupid.
Red Fang.
Look,
Dumb
you
fucking
don't have to try to make somebody like Redefine Living sound stupid. He's got that
exactly.
covered, mate.
Yeah, he
Like,
does a good job.
he's all over that, you know, like
When he said we have
But,
worldviews that need instantiation, I had no clue what that meant.
But
Yeah, he
a lot
used
of the
that word a
time-
few times, and I'm like, define that.
a lot of the time in debates, what I'll see is someone like Redefine Living start down this stupid trail of thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
and people interrupt him or they try and stop him. Don't stop him. If someone wants to say something incredibly dumb, let them. Like, just let them go.
That's why I don't
Um,
entertain Darth Dawkins, because the more he talks, the worse it's gonna shoot him in his own foot.
That's why it's
just
so
funny.
fun, though.
Real
Like
quick,
when he was on Praise's stream and I went on. Oh,
Oh, he
Every
does
time-
not like Leo.
every time I got put backstage, I would turn my camera on and start laughing. Because, like, I knew that Praise was doing it, and he even told me, he's like, I wanted Darth to stay here as long as possible, because he was like, dude, this is fucking gold. And I would just be sitting back there laughing my ass off.
Mhm.
It was so funny.
Real quick, everyone, Pat, you're back, hopefully for good. Pat, say something. Let's hear your voice.
I hope so.
Okay,
I
that's
hope
good.
so. I had to restart
Good
my
quality.
laptop.
I'm going to need more to finish, Pat.
I can hear you guys fine.
Okay, Pat, you're coming in great. No choppiness or
Well,
anything. Pat, what might you bring to the
Sweet.
table tonight?
Really nothing
Or
other
say
than to
anything.
come in here and make fun of you and wonder why Jay Pasick hasn't come in, because I specifically challenged him to
What did you?
imbibe
on what?
gummies and come on the stream.
It's Jay
Jay
Panic for
Passive.
the record.
More like Jay
Jay
Panic,
Panic.
am I right?
Jay
Jay
Pussick.
Panic.
That was bad, or what? That was too far.
Batter.
Did I say? Never mind. Nobody heard me.
You said batter, I think. Well, Pat, it's good to have you here. So I know me and Leo have talked to Redefine Living before, in our own separate occasions. And I don't think Mark has, and I think BS has not heard of him before. So, Pat, have you talked to BS? Not BS. Have you talked to Redefine Living before? The guy we were just
No,
watching on the
I
debate.
actually had no idea who he was until tonight's stream.
I had no idea what he looked like until tonight's stream.
Yeah, I'm
I have talked to him in chat, like chat and
Oh,
debates.
yeah,
I think over on Standing for Truth, and I ended up blocking him because he's an asshole.
Yeah, he really is. Dude's a dick.
Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button.
I was wondering. I was like, where the fuck did Leo go?
The wrong button or the right button?
The wrong button.
Yeah, I guess, you know, whether I hit the wrong or the right button is very much normative, and I am a normative anti-realist. There's no fact of the matter about that. It depends on, you know, your perspectives.
Well, you have to have that knowledge if God exists, and only if God exists. Oh, Andrew, you just missed it. We were reviewing the video that you recommended, good sir. God damn it. We got to start over.
Watch the whole thing back over again.
Please.
Actually,
no.
props to Andrew, because he was the one who mentioned it. He was like, Grayson and Redefine Living did a debate. And I was like, oh, fuck. Let's find it. And then Titan Uranus DM me on Discord with that link. Grayson, though, he did good from what I saw. I really like his style.
He did well. Superman does good.
Girl, in the future, don't sell your channel to Leo.
I wouldn't buy this
right.
channel.
Which
Who's
one?
buying this channel?
I would pay you
Is this
to.
an auction or?
I would pay you to give it to you. You'd be like, fuck no, I don't want this shit. Anyway, I gotta get my charger for my cell phone, so I'll be right back.
Going back to Darth Dawkins,
Well,
keep
that was
on
fun.
shooting yourself in the foot. It's funny, and you do more harm to yourself than you actually benefit yourself.
I think Darth Dawkins probably made a lot of atheists. Like when you actually sit down and watch him, like even other Christians are like, "Wow, that is terrible." And he also attacks other Christians as well. Like it's actually really weird because he's been on multiple shows with like, you know, a Christian round table. Like they'll have Catholic and evangelical.
Right.
And he'll get thrown out of that as well. You know, like he cannot get along with anybody, even people with similar worldviews. Like it's absolutely insane.
He makes more atheists, like you say, more than Christians. He literally deconverts more people than I could ever do. So
Yeah,
keep
but
on
you
talking.
guys are laboring under the delusion that Darth Dawkins gets on the internet to make people Christians and not to yell at 16 and 17-year-olds that haven't really asked these deep questions yet because they're too busy getting high and playing football and trying to fuck, you know, little Miss Sally Prissy Pants or something like that. Like that's what he wants to do. Why do you think he consistently runs from people like Detroyer and Angstrike and Danny and Josh, Realistic Nihilist, and a variety of other people? Because he's not actually interested in discussions. He was never interested in discussions.
Yeah, and
It was
won't
never about
discuss evidence.
converting people.
He won't.
He
I've
just
tried
wants to
twice
be an
now to get him
asshole.
to discuss evidence for the Bible because he makes a claim that there are mountains of archaeological evidence to support the claims of the Old and New Testament, and now he won't talk to me.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, I'm not a psychologist, but I think that if there's one person I'd sort of go, okay, that's a narcissist. He so seems like a narcissist. Like it just feeds his ego to, you know, shout at people and basically tell them how unintelligent and childish they are. You know, like that strokes his ego, which is, you know, horrifying kind of thing.
You're dumb, you're stupid, and I know your mind better than you do.
Right.
Then why does he get so many views? Like,
Because
if
people
you're
like
to laugh at him.
Yeah.
People like dumpster fires, man. I mean,
atheist
highest
channels will just get crazy views just by throwing them on the thumbnail.
I know. I mean, the highest views I've ever got was from Darth Dawkins and Kent Hovind, like, because they are insanely bad, you know, like it's the worst people that gets the best views. It's the whole idea behind reality television. You know, they don't get on, you know, very rational people with, you know, who get along with other people, right? They don't do Love Island and get on like really good people that are very peaceful and, you know how to resolve conflict and stuff like that. They get on complete douchebags.
I think it has to do more with the fact that they've been doing what they've been doing so long. They have both a public and media recognition that drives things like the YouTube algorithm, right? You just type in Darth Dawkins and see how many videos you get hit that are either linked directly with him and or someone that is commenting on something he's done. It's just, he's got to, whether it's what the atheist community, skeptic community wanted to do or not, they've made Darth Dawkins largely what he is today, in addition to his own effort.
Yeah. That's what's disturbing is you'll have atheist channel offshoots that are dedicated just to Darth Dawkins, and they're doing very well for themselves.
And that's fine. I mean, I don't, because his arguments are so bad. Like, this is the thing. Like, and he doesn't have his own channel. Someone once asked him, like, why don't you create your own channel and make a killing off this? Apparently, he did have his own channel, and it got shut down for violations of terms of service. I think Darth Dawkins is the kind of person who cannot accept failure, kind of thing. Like, he can't accept that his channel failed, that he tried and failed. So he's not going to do it again, because I don't think he can handle that failure.
Kind of like dental school.
Well, if Darth Dawkins is listening,
I
you
don't
failed
get that,
as a Christian.
Wait, did Darth Dawkins like go to be a dentist or something?
That's my understanding. Yeah, because he went to dental school and did not graduate.
Can I ask who you got this from?
Pain on people.
It's one of several people that are familiar with Darth Dawkins who were talking about him at the time that his brother came out on the internet and was talking about him. His brother, that's the psychologist.
So, like Tom Rabbit?
Tom Rabbit, and there are other people as well. I mean, it keeps getting
his brother is a psychologist.
Yes, clinical psychologist.
That must be a fascinating relationship.
I don't think they have one.
Yeah, I don't think they have a relationship.
Shit.
Darth apparently doesn't have like a relationship with pretty much any human beings.
That's kind of sad. Like, that's really sad.
I mean, it is, but I also think that there's probably... Look, I don't know who Darth is. I don't know anything about his life. But I just from his behavior that I have seen in the 2014, 6, 7, 8, 9 years that I've like known who he is, I would say that a lot of the unfortunately sad aspects of his life, not all of it, but I'm sure there was a lot of self-infliction there. A lot of self-infliction.
Well, sure, but, you know, to not have anybody is still sad. You know, it's still, it's just sad, man. Like, imagine not having anybody.
I don't know, Mark. I kind of think people, you know, you can't be mad at someone who doesn't have a dog if he kicks dogs all the time, right? Like, he is a vile person, so the fact that he doesn't have relationships is kind of self-inflicted. So I tend to have less.
Do you think that's why he's that destructive to himself and his own Christian community? It's really something to look at. It's like, he's so detrimental to what he does. It's just laughable.
He doesn't see it that way, right? So what he sees himself is like the theologically motivated champion, you know, on the internet for Christ. Because the days of the actual physical crusades of getting on a horse with a sword and killing the infidel and converting the non-believer, those are over. So today's crusaders are on the internet, and you know, they do largely the same kind of self-aggrandizement that the medieval crusaders did.
It's so funny. It's because it's
champions for mindset like that. They stop the rat.
You're roboting, Pat.
You're really cutting in and out.
I
Pat,
thought that was just me. But I kind of think Mark's
not
on
that
the
high
right.
yet, Leo.
I do think Mark is on the right track, though, because I feel like the kind of person that Darth is, at least on the internet, and I think it's kind of obvious that this is a guy who doesn't fucking touch grass. I mean, he spends all day on the internet arguing with teenagers and what have you. It seems to me that there probably is a lot of failure in his life, and that he is very afraid of trying anything in virtue of failing again. And that has culminated in the kind of person that he is now. It's the only thing he's ever been, quote unquote, good or quote unquote successful at to any capacity in his mind. And so it's the one thing he will keep doing.
Well, that's my point. Is it's ironic that he is so good at riling everybody up, but he's not capitalizing on it personally. Rabbit is. He's making him killing off of it, but Darth ain't. So
Yeah.
And keep in mind how vocal he is. You can't find too many Christians that are so that does so much harm for their own beliefs than Darth Dawkins. I don't know of someone that literally shoots herself in the foot, because you literally take the idea of like, I know your mind better than anybody else because my book said so. And you run that rhetoric down everybody's throats.
Well, I think Leo was right. I think he hit the nail on the head when he sort of said that he's not in it to win people over to Christianity. Like, he's not in it for Christianity at all. He's in it for himself, and I suspect that he gets a big ego boost off of the the sycophants and the people telling him he's amazing, and then he yells at some teenager and then feels superior and stuff, and it's all for that sort of hit of I am the greatest thing to ever hit the internet. Well, everyone else looks at him and just goes, well, what a douchebag.
It's so funny because he's like hitting himself. It's like, Jimmy, stop hitting yourself. It's like, I almost got him. And he enjoys it.
Kane Pixels just uploaded a video, so I'm going to mute, and I'm also going to mute the site for I don't know how long when the video's over. So if you try to talk to me, I'm not going to hear you. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, that Leo guy. What a handsome man that Leo guy is.
Leo was awesome.
Leo's cool. I'm sorry for trying to make it seem like talk behind his back. But I mean, I've interacted with Darth Dawkins. The really weird part is he was like, "Oh, you're obviously an intelligent man." It's like, why are you giving me compliment? I've never heard this before. Like, I don't watch a lot of him though, but it was really weird. It was almost like, it was just weird. My interaction with him, I don't think I want to interact with him again. It's just weird.
I don't know. After my first,
sorry, go for it. No,
after my first interaction with him, I'm hardly ever able to interact with him. Literally 5 minutes, usually in the conversation, he drops out or he cusses me out, and I just don't understand it. I'm just baffled by him, and it's funny because I would love to have a conversation with him and just destroy his points. Especially when you're going to assert things about knowing my mind better than me.
I don't think he could do that. He would just overtalk you and then boot you.
Well, look at some of the stuff he has tried. I mean, he's tried to start up a sort of debate career on modern day debate, and that went so badly. Like, it just that led to a few catchphrases like, "Have you screened these interlocutors?" kind of thing. And if you haven't seen Shannon Q versus Darth Dawkins, oh boy, you just see a man broken down by a psychologist.
Oh, that is
it is amazing what she does, because she's sort of like recognizes what he's doing, explains to him what he's doing. He protests, and sort of then the moderator's basically laughing. James Kuhn's basically laughing because it just is that absurd that this is what he's trying to do in front of somebody who realizes it, has identified it, explains what he's trying to do, and then he's getting mad that she's aware of what he's doing. And that is just so absurd, that James had to laugh, and then he got mad at James. Like, it just was this. it was a person breaking down on live on camera. Well, I mean, he wasn't on camera, but live in front of you, he's just breaking down, and he
It's
never went on there
beautiful.
again.
It's so
just
beautiful.
I don't know. It's just a guy who is like, he cannot accept that of all things a woman beat him kind of thing. Like I think the guy he has a massive fear of failure. Like he cannot try anything new, because if he fails at it, it says that he isn't what he thinks he is, and I think that's tragic. Really,
he gets more pissed off about. No, he gets pissed. This is when he gets pissed. He's in a very good mood. He's happy. He's enjoying what he's doing. He's talking nice to you. If he can run his damn script, if he can do that, he's happy. If you get someone like Leo, who is not going to go down that road, he's going to go off. And I love the interactions.
Yeah, so I've often said it before, like anger is a sort of secondary emotion. Like I truly believe this, that anger it's a fight or flight reflex or freeze kind of thing. It's basically your adrenaline spiking because you've got to cope with something. So usually I think that anger is triggered by either a fear or pain sometimes, which of course is sort of a fear of being hurt and that a physical response to being hurt. But I think that's, sort of how we respond with fear primarily. So the one thing I found asking myself with somebody as angry as Darth Dawkins is, what is he afraid of, not what is he angry about? I think he's scared of somebody making him look stupid, because in his mind he cannot be stupid.
Probably scared of being wrong.
Well, sure, yeah, but I think it's more what people will think of him if he is wrong, rather than being wrong itself. I think he's afraid that people will think that he's stupid and doesn't know what he's talking about, because a lot of his questions, like when he presents them, is sort of do you think I don't know what I'm talking about kind of thing. A lot of them is, I've been doing this for X years kind of thing. A lot of them are trying to shore up that he does have knowledge in what he's doing, that he does know what he's talking about. So, I mean, I'm not a psychologist. I could be wrong. This is just my personal opinion. That's all. I just want to make that.
I will actually say Dark is
okay, Mark, I just have to say,
forward.
I have been doing these debates and these discussions, okay, for about 12 years now.
Checkmate, Mark.
I have spoken
Just
with.
kidding.
Are you listening to me, Mark? I have spoken
Yeah.
with hundreds of atheists in that time, and you, sir, are no different than any of the rest of them.
Yeah.
Stop over talking me.
Excuse me,
stop
sir.
Have you
Sir.
screened these interlocutors?
Oh my God, I love that
Moderator,
one on the
moderator.
modern day debate. And he's like, James, you told me you screened my interlocutor. Oh my God, I was dying. Oh my God. Oh, that shit is too damn funny.
Was that the Shannon Q one, or was it Snake was right? Maybe
It was either Snake was right or it was Red Venture, but it was because both of them did well against Darth.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think it was
Snake
one of
did
those two,
fantastic,
but
yeah.
I'm not. Oh, Snake did so every time the way he would undertalk Darth would say something, Snake would be like, "Nope, that's not true." And be like, "So I have," and Darth would be like, "So, I have justification," and Snake, "No, you don't." Dude, it was so fucking funny.
And I
Because
want
you
to
could tell
say
it was
this.
getting to Darth, man. It was pissing him off.
I want to
still
go
think
back
the
to
best
the.
was Shannon Q though against Darth Dawkins.
Oh, I remember
Very
that
good.
one.
Go for it.
100%.
That was a good one.
I want to go to one thing. It's like Dark saying that he knows philosophy or he very smart or stuff. No, you're on the bottom of the barrel, dude. I don't care about your years. Anyone who takes 5 minutes going, anyone who's just got common sense can basically go and have a debate with you. No one has to study philosophy. No one has to study or understand fallacies. You're literally the bottom of the barrel. Anyone with common sense, right? Anyone with common sense can go up against Darth Dawkins. He's on the bottom of the barrel. I think, no. When it comes to conversations about him being credible in the debate, no.
Honestly, I think I would disagree on the point that like anybody can go up against Darth. I don't think somebody who's not very rhetorically skilled, I don't think would look well against.
I do agree.
I can't agree.
And there have been debates that I've seen of people who are more intelligent and are better interlocutors than Darth is, but I still don't think they performed well against Darth because of. I mean, Darth is a particular type of character, and you have to know how to do those kinds of characters. And trying to be as charitable as you can, I'm sorry, it's just not going to work with someone like Darth. It's just not.
Right.
If he can overtalk you, like people he can overtalk, yes, I can give him a little advantage because that's basically his win tactic. It's to try to overtalk you and try to.
He always has the advantage, Corey. He never goes to a place where there's a fair field to discuss.
He does not like talking to Leo or Danny. I've seen that.
Well, he always has a room where he's got control over the mute powers, and he's got moderator tools, kind of thing. He never goes into a place where there's a moderator, and not since modern day debate.
I do a tactic. Where I just slow him down. It's just like, okay, just clarify. Like I talk very nice, and it's like, well, what am I not understanding? And then I just let him go on and on and on.
I'm not understanding that you don't have a foundation for coherence, and you don't have a justification
for evidence of your worldview. Metaphysics.
Evidence.
Did you guys know that Darth was offered $1,000 to debate Jack Gangstrike?
What?
And he turned it down. He was straight up told, look, you don't even have to acknowledge any fucking thing Jack says. He could make a point and you could talk about fucking pies. We just want you to show up and do it was either 30 minutes or 1 hour of debate with Jack Gangstrike. Doesn't even have to fucking respond to Jack meaningfully. Just to be there for it was either 30 minutes or an hour, and he would literally get $1,000. He turned it down.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Fuck.
I can believe that. Like I said, his motivation is just to, basically he doesn't want to look stupid. He doesn't
scream at teenagers on the internet.
Right,
yes,
right.
It's the only people he can debate.
So he's there to feel superior, and if he doesn't feel superior to somebody, he's not going to go into that situation at all.
Yep.
Which is sad and pathetic, quite frankly. It's not even something I'm angry about. What a broken person.
I have to argue against 5-year-olds and teenagers.
What's really funny is listening to people like Alex Malpass or Stephen Law, who are, like very high level professional philosophers, have discussions with Darth. They're on YouTube on. If Canadian Catholics channels are still up, they should be there, unless they're on different channels because they were in one of his old Discord servers. But because you can tell, like, these guys have no fucking clue what the fuck Darth is trying to say, because it's just fucking gibberish. Like, it's nonsense. It's because every professional philosopher will just be like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know what to make of whatever words you just strung together. What are you trying to tell me?"
Oh, real quick, by the way, Andrew, sorry, I'm glad you're here, Andrew. Andrew, thank you so much for the recommendation of the Grayson.
Oh, you're welcome.
Sam debate. That was
sorry I missed it. I was working on something.
I was hoping.
Yeah, good call, Andrew. Absolutely.
I'm surprised by that, but okay. You're welcome.
What were your thoughts on that whole debate? I saw that you said that it was very painful to watch when you watched it live.
From what I can recall, which wasn't too much near the latter half of it, because I was just getting, quite frankly, bored of it, and just talking with others in the side chat, but from what I got from it, the whole disagreement, it was kind of the
It was
thing,
kind
of
of
course,
vacuous. It was just vacuous, right? Vacuous.
Vacuous,
Completely
yes.
vacuous.
Yeah, he had a few favorite words in that exchange, or phrases.
Yeah, if you could just
Yeah.
instantiate the vacuousness of your justification, Andrew, that would be great.
Right. Yeah, it seemed like he was mainly just saying, well, you can't disprove what I'm saying. So even though even though Grayson wasn't making a positive claim or even a counterclaim, he was just saying, well, I doubt the claim you're making. And then RL was just shifting the burden of proof, basically. And that was kind of what I took from it, mainly.
That was pretty much my takeaway too, because at one point Grayson said there's no evidence for God, and Sam was saying, okay, you made a positive claim, so Grayson, rightfully so in my opinion, said, okay, let me retract and modify. I have been presented with no good evidence for God.
Right.
And the way he did that was perfect, but Sam was like, oh, you're begging the question. What the fuck?
How is that begging the question?
I don't know. It was just so
I think
cringe.
honestly, and I'm not trying to sound harsh or anything, but I think Sam has heard some of these terms and in scientific parlance as well, but has heard some of these terms and jargon and whatnot, and just runs with it without fully understanding. And I this is kind of more on the scientific side of things, but I actually got a window into, or another example of this on SFT's channel the other day. Unfortunately, my comments on that channel are blocked, I think, so no one can see them because I responded back. But anyways, he was talking about the formation, or well, how the formation of limestone is apparently not in conflict with a global flood, because for anyone who doesn't know, limestone takes a while to precipitate out of the water, so that doesn't really jive well with a year-long global deluge. But he brought up like an article about people, I think actual scientists or engineers or something like that. They were injecting either calcite or carbonated water, I think, rich in carbon dioxide or something like that, into basalt, and then that was somehow getting calcite, aka limestone, to form in there. Or
I think I read about this. It didn't have a different chemical composition than naturally forming limestone, though?
It might have, but what was funny to me was he was arguing that because they were forming calcite or calcium carbonate minerals, therefore that limestone formations could be explained that way. When to me, at least, it seemed like, well, you're just back where you started. Okay, you can form calcite, you can form calcium carbonate, but you still need to get it precipitating out of solution and get it forming these giant deposits like the White Cliffs of Dover, for example. So I don't know. That kind of struck me as one example of that. He heard something he liked, or just some chemistry he liked in this case, and just ran with it without fully understanding the implications of it. Sorry, that was long.
Yeah, I think I read up about that, but the way that they do it isn't sort of natural. So the limestone that they create has a different chemical composition than the limestone you find in nature. And they've got to explain how the calcium carbonate was injected into it, kind of thing. Like, it just doesn't. It's like a lot of these explanations that these people come up with. Like, one explanation opens up 10 other questions, kind of thing. Like,
at most, it would explain the chemical formation of it. It wouldn't explain like fossiliferous limestone, for example, with all the marine shells and whatnot. Like, how does that form due to this process? But unfortunately, no one is able to see that, I think.
Andrew, Scott Dick said that you upped the quality of the stream by 75%.
It's got to be 80 at least. How dare you underwrite Andrew?
Minimally like 77%.
That's all right. I bring it down another 50, so you know.
Oh, don't say that, man.
You cancel out each other.
I think you brought up a lot with your name. I really like the play on words there.
I like plays on words. I'm a bit of a like. There's certain things that I like. I like palindromes. For some reason, I've just got this obsession with palindromes. I don't know why.
Word games are fun
so much.
What's it called when a word is spelled the same way when it's backwards? What's that called?
That's a palindrome.
Yeah,
that is what that is. Okay, I thought that's what it was, but I wasn't exactly
So
sure.
the longest palindrome I ever heard was Satan oscillate my metallic sonatas. That is awesome.
No shit,
That's
really.
Exactly the same backwards. It's awesome.
Like race car is also that, right?
Yep.
Not
if
the
you want to
biggest
see something amazing, Weird Al Yankovic did a song called Bob. I think it was called Bob. Yeah, I think so. And it basically the entire song, the lyrics are just palindrome after palindrome. It's incredible that he made a song to just palindromes. Like, I mean, this is Weird Al. The guy's a genius. Oh,
he really is. I love his song at the drive-thru. It's like a 7-minute song about going to a drive-thru, and it is amazing. 7 minutes of a song about going to the drive-thru at a fast food place.
I got to admit, I've got a soft spot for white and nerdy. It just to me, it was just like it described my life as a young guy. It just was so good.
The gangsters, yeah.
I just love how they're in the playing D&D in the alley, like like they're gambling. It's just so good.
I also real quick want to ask Leo, did you happen to watch that stream with Speed I did the other day by any chance? If not, that's okay.
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe some of it.
Okay.
What was it about?
I was talking about what the papers Sal was bringing up in his debate with Grayson on cosmology.
They had a debate too? No shit.
Yeah, they had they had a 2v2 one with Grayson and you, Leo, actually.
With Rebecca.
That for a second. Yeah,
okay,
with Rebecca. And then they did a separate one-on-one.
Who was with Grayson? Was it
Leo?
Leo, yeah.
Leo Phallus.
Leo Phyllis. Yeah, but Leo's gone at Rebecca a ton about cosmology, and she just basically goes nah, and that's
exactly.
That's her.
She covers her ears and goes la 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 la.
Well, it's funny you say that because actually I did a.
Hey, Tux.
Good evening.
Yeah, I posted a comment on a stream she and Sal did where basically they said the exact same things over again, kind of responding to it point by point. So it was a really long comment, obviously, but I don't know. Let's just say the comment she commented back with was kind of frustrating. It wasn't even like much or like derogatory. Well, I guess a little bit condescending maybe, but it felt that way. But it was the fact that I made this long comment, and maybe I might be a little bitter about it, but I made this long comment, and she just replied back with a few sentences like, "Okay, what about all this stuff that I talked about?"
Whataboutisms. Yeah, you just made a bunch of good points, but what about this, Andrew?
Right.
No, well, I mean, whataboutisms are only if you're asking.
Oh, well, I know. It was a poor choice.
No, Gert, we're specific here. We're professional YouTubers. We have to be specific and accurate, or else Leo yells at you.
You presuppose that I'm a professional.
Oh, okay. Well, scratch that one.
It gets more and more crazy as the years goes on. More and more dumpster fires.
Yeah, I feel that. Tux, how you doing today, Tux? Or tonight?
I'm doing well. Hi.
What have you been doing tonight, Tux?
We had a fantastic night. I went to dinner in the Naperville area, if anybody's familiar with Naperville.
No.
And we went into one restaurant that we wanted to go, and they like kind of said, "No, you can't really come and but hang out for about 15 minutes, and but it could be an hour. It may even be an hour and 40 minutes. And we're like, oh, okay.
Wow.
So went to another place. They kind of laughed us out. So we walked across the river, went to a place that my wife and I love going to, and I had a tuna steak that I haven't had. I haven't had a good tuna steak like that in like 20 years, I think. I've had a lot of good tuna steaks in between, but it's just been a while since you've had a good quality cut of tuna that was just slice into it and delicious.
How was it cooked? Rare, medium?
Yeah, it was burnt to a bloody crisp. And
God.
No, and the thing is, that is my brother's reference to when a tuna steak is just cooked perfect. It's just barely cooked, but just perfectly raw in the middle. You know, like around an eighth of an inch cooked on the top and an eighth of an inch cooked on the bottom, and just looks like it should be
medium
bleeding.
rare. What you're describing.
And people like
that's the good stuff.
And it was just cooked perfect. Like, there used to be an Italian restaurant downtown Chicago that I would go to named Grappa's. It's been long gone, and I used to get good tuna steaks there.
Okay, Tux, you're making me really hungry. I appreciate your story, but
not gonna lie,
holy, I am getting hungry, dude.
And then,
Mark,
and then we went to a dessert bar, a chocolate bar down the street from there, and I had a cocoa with a shot of espresso in it, and I mean to tell you, it was delicious. It was just perfect.
Chocolate.
I feel my sugar crashing.
So,
what were you saying, Andrew? Oh, go ahead.
If any Christian wants to say that I'll be rewarded in heaven, bullshit.
It has to be that.
I was rewarded tonight.
Okay,
Andrew.
And what's the deal?
Do you have a smile, Tux? Have you ever smiled?
Of
God,
course.
atheist.
That's God apparently. So checkmate, atheist.
No. When I said I, that is in the how does he say it? I don't remember. Apparently, when you say I am an atheist, that somehow is a reflection of saying God.
You're talking about biblically the ultimated Christian guy.
Yes.
Who basically every time you say I, it's like, well, that presupposes a God.
Yeah.
Because the ultimate God needs to be there. I know, right? I had to block him because he kept messaging me, offering me, like he offered me money to tell James on Modern Day Debate to let us debate kind of thing on Modern Day Debate. And I'm like, listen, man, I will not support you for Modern Day Debate. Like, James, I consider to be, a friend of mine, and he's got a channel to run, and you're crazy. Like, you're freaking nuts. Like, that would be just awful for the channel and everything that he's trying to do. So
I don't know. Every time he shows up on any other channel, that dude gets views.
Have you seen his channel? Like 9-hour just streams of him just saying that stuff over and over.
I think the guy's a turd. I think he's an absolute turd. And I'll tell you what, I'll apologize to him for saying so. If he provides a good Google definition that colloquially supports his reference to the word I being the way he references it. And second, he turns on his comments on his channel. Other than that,
turned off or turns on?
He's got them all turned off. 100%.
Off. Okay.
Even on his community tab when he posts something, comments are turned off.
Wow.
To me, that is the sign of a scared, poor soul,
insecure,
stuck in their humdrum lives and their presuppositions.
I'm talking about when he goes on other channels, not his channel, but more like other people who's not familiar with him. It's just candy because of this crazy shit he says. Good example, Atheist Experience or Truth Wanted or whatever. When he showed up on those shows, look at the views on those shows when he popped up.
That's sad.
Well, yeah, in my opinion, views aren't everything. I mean, come on. It's
I agree.
If you're not producing content that you like, what's the point? Like, if you don't like your own content,
yes,
what's the point in it?
Well, I mean, Gur here values subscribers a lot, I hear.
Well, I mean, Gur likes his own content. Nobody else does, but Gur likes it, so.
Hey, sometimes you gotta do things for yourself. That's all I'm saying.
And in 2 years, that will change.
Yeah, that's future me, everyone. Gerd too.
Has it ever occurred to you how many views you could get as like a Christian though? Like the worst Christians get these amazing like subscriber numbers, and you're like,
actually,
am I doing it wrong? Should I just go, I've been converted and pick up a whole bunch of subscribers? Well, not that I'd ever do that, but it's crossed my mind, right?
Here's the thing.
It'd be so much easier.
I can relate to that. If I did not have a conscience, I would just do right-winger commentary. I'd just be like, oh, that's woke, and you'd immediately get 1,000 views just for saying that thing that I don't like is woke.
Yeah.
But I can't do it.
And you could get so much because you you're not actually convinced, but you're just trying to convince your audience. So you could literally dodge certain stuff on the YouTube algorithm that knows that your channel will get banned for.
Well, I did come across this channel. It was this girl that was that made a fake flat earther Facebook page. And she talked about how she got so many members, so many views.
Right.
The traction was through the roof. And she said the whole time I was actually just trolling flat earthers, like NASA is a lie, just, typical talking points.
Yeah.
And I was just amazed by it. I was like, wow, it's so crazy that she could post stuff that was so satirical, yet the flat earthers took it as the gospel truth.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find it because it was actually really interesting.
Mate. It's Poe's law, and those unfamiliar with Poe's law basically says there is no belief that you hear that is insane enough that it could not be mistaken for parody without any kind of, no parody that's presented that's insane enough that could not be mistaken for the real thing without some sort of indication, like an emoji or something like that. You could make up, dragons burst the world from a world egg kind of thing, and that it may be impossible to tell whether that's real or not.
Sounds like a much better story than in Genesis, to be honest.
Look, I'm all for dragons. I believe dragons were in the Gospel of Thomas, so it actually fits with the biblical.
That's true.
Well, not biblical, but the sort of
biblically
it's an apocryphal worldview.
Titan, since you have a link, you need to link the stream if you can find it or know which one it is where Sunday brings in biblically, because I don't know if anybody else in the stream knows President Sunday. But he's not a bad guy, and I agree with pretty much almost everything he says, but he is kind of a character. I will put it that way. That oh my god, that's got to be one of the funniest. Well, he said funniest thing ever. Oh my god, holy shit, that's got to be so fucking funny. Please tell me you can find the link to that Titan. I have got to see that.
Reid,
do your job, Titan.
Thanks for
doing that. I can say one thing real quick. Someone earlier mentioned completely blocking people's comments. I don't know if it's just like a YouTube thing, but I've seen myself included comments being shadow blocked or something. So on your end, you can see it, but if you switch accounts, for example, you don't see it anymore. And I think that's really dishonest.
Actually,
I kind of despise that even more.
I found that sometimes I think I've been blocked, but you have to click new post. You have to select new post, and then scroll through and find your post, because it it shows the most popular. If you're looking at it and you're looking for it under most popular, and you don't see it, You sometimes have to click the newest and then scroll all the way down, and you will see it with somebody.
You can just go into your account and have a look at the posts that you've made. Like, you can see them all from your account if you go into your settings.
Well, because I've tried down like places where there aren't too many comments and comments don't show up when I switch accounts. So
and here's one thing. Sometimes it's a YouTube feature. When you go to the comments, go by sort by newest comments, and anything that was filtered out. Even in replies, like if you see a comment that has a bunch of replies, which I can't come across any at the moment. For example, let's just say this comment has 106 replies. Let's say you click on it and you only see 100 replies. YouTube is filtering out certain words or terminologies. But if you go by newest first, if you can find that original thread, then you'll see comments that were filtered out by YouTube, not necessarily the YouTuber themselves.
Well, YouTube apparently blocks by linked accounts, right? Every other account linked with your account. So if you unlink them, you may have success. They don't IP block, apparently. So that's not what's happening.
Titan, I see that you're still. I see that you're still not showing the link yet.
Yeah, Titan, what's up with that? Give us.
I think
link.
he said it might take him like a few minutes to find it, but it seems like
he said a few seconds. I took that literally.
Also,
Mafundi.
Also, me.
You're a Titan literalist.
Also, younger me.
Yes, older me.
Titan takes over your channel by hacking it. I don't know how this happens, but he does it sometimes in the future.
I'm changing my password right now.
You should.
Oh, here we go.
We got some kind of twins paradox.
I feel like Titan probably mods for like some of the most like weird fucking channel. Like, how much money you want to bet Titan Uranus is a mod in Philip DeFranco's fucking side chat? I don't even know if that guy does lives.
I believe
I would bet a shit fucking pile of money that if he does, Titan Uranus has a goddamn wrench. Guarantee fucking it.
Dude,
I expect to like go somewhere random, like I don't know, like Brie Larson's channel or something, and suddenly Titan's going to show up there, and I'm like, what the?
Gonna go to the Young Turks or the Sam Cedars, the majority of the Titan with a blue name and a wrench. If I see him with a blue wrench
over in the future,
all I'm saying is if I see him with a fucking wrench in Vosh's side chat, Titan, buddy.
Oh, dude. Every time I watch it,
he's gonna have a wrench there. He has a wrench every.
It wouldn't surprise me if he does, though.
Look!
I bet he doesn't.
Can I just point out the amazing job Titan does for everybody? Everybody that gives him a wrench never regrets it because he does an amazing job. He's really supportive.
The strangest. This is good.
Great guy.
Yeah, this is
don't feed his ego. He takes over the world.
It's funny because
whatever I please. And after Tux is talking food, I think I better go.
Sunday was on. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. Sunday actually was on a stream. Went on a stream where Destiny was because Sunday does not like Destiny. And Destiny accused President Sunday of running from like a discussion or something like that. And I shit you not, for like 15 seconds straight, Sunday was just like, I did not run. 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 As Destiny's trying to like, that's what I mean when I say he's a character. Like, I don't think he's a bad guy, but he's kind of a character.
I've only seen a little bit of his streams. Oh, and that's only because of Titan Uranus like posting about it. I was like, all right, who's this President Sunday guy?
You're not going to share clips of that video, Gur?
What? Oh, yeah, I'll do that.
Hey, Jay's here.
All right. Oh, fuck. Volume.
President Run Day. Shit.
Is this a video game?
Yes. He's
I'm not really clear on what exists even means at that level, right? Because typically the Judeo-Christian God, at least in present day, is taken to have some kind of foundational anchoring or constitutive relationship with reality itself. So to say that he exists, I mean, it seems in a certain sense almost to be committing yourself to a view that he's a part of his creation, which seems a bit odd.
It's not. It's fallacious. I'll just ask you a different question.
Well, no, it would be fallacious,
agree?
but that's why I would find like saying in a declarative sense that he exists to be a little strange, because we're operating at a level where we're talking about something that is constitutive of reality. Therefore, to say that God is real is sort of making a circular argument, right? Because you're saying God is that which makes reality is real, but it also makes reality, so it must also be outside of reality, whatever that means.
So my new clarifying question: do you agree that God exists?
I don't know. Just for the conceptual difficulties I just mentioned. I don't believe that God doesn't exist, because I find myself in an equally strange situation that way. But the positive statement God exists, I don't know how I would be in a position to say that without fudging something.
Well, you know God exists depending on your knowledge of the proper noun God. I've just private messaged you an ultimative categorical syllogism proving Judeo-Christian /biblical presuppositionalism. If A isn't C, then B isn't C. So premise 1, biblically / ultimately, God's definitionally ultimate truthful love.
Hang on, let me look at this thing. God's how is this a premise? I don't understand.
It's in the definition.
I don't understand what I'm looking. Can I put this onto the screen just so people can see what I'm looking at? Just in the interest of fairness.
Yes, you can do.
Both
you can
of us,
do
honestly.
what you want.
So premise 1, biblically awesomely, God's definitionally.
No. Biblically / awesomely.
Premise 2, God definitionally
/
Bible.
yeah.
Conclusion,
Right.
Judeo-Christian.
Yeah, there you go, Mark.
Presuppositionalism follows from the law of rational inference.
/ awesome.
All right. Can you justify those premises for me?
Yes, we'll start from premise 1.
Sounds good.
But just to restate premise 1, biblically / awesomely, God's definitionally ultimate truthful love through sacred theology / revealed theology, dichotomously backing the creator-creature distinction, biblically Deuteronomy 29:29, 1 Corinthians 2:7-12, Psalms 19:1-4, Romans 1:17-20, Romans 2:14-15.
Can you pause really quick, Gareth?
49.
Really quick. Keep comment here up though. This comment here, I'm not sure if he's saying this about Sunday or about biblically. To be completely honest,
biblically,
I would say biblically, because
I think so. There's
I am 100% with number one handsome man, definitely.
Mark, can I get you to say something really quick?
What's that?
/, but say it like it's one word, not /, but /. There you go. Awesome.
Oh,
/.
You're so fast.
Like, Australians don't like enunciation. We have a problem with it.
It's funny here in Georgia. If there's a 2-syllable word, we make it 1, and if it's a 1-syllable word, we make it 2. Like fire.
Well, I mean, look at the French. I think they've got 26 letters in their alphabet too, don't they? Somewhere.
Yeah,
Let's just say it's 26. I don't know. And they use all of them. Their words are like 16 syllables long, but they only pronounce like 2 or 3 of the fucking letters. It makes no sense. This is why nobody likes French, dude. Why do you have these X's and P's and Q's that don't?
Pterodactyl.
You got the word colonel, and it ain't even got a motherfucking R in it. Like, what are you people fucking doing?
Come on. English isn't exactly like the best language either. I mean, look,
at least we use our letters.
English. No, but it's like I before E, except after C, except when the sound is A, and there are exceptions to that. Like, come on. Like, if you're looking at consistency from English, you are looking in the wrong place.
I think the British were consistent in developing a language.
I'm sorry, but English in America is just we can't even speak our own damn language, right?
Would you like some water?
Yeah, it's funny that the people who use an adjective to describe a group of people, which you would want a noun because they're people, when they call them illegals, which is not a noun. So I don't understand it. And what the funniest part about it is those people in practically the same breath will turn around and say that you need to speak English properly if you're going to live in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably the same people that if they went to a foreign country, they get mad that the person doesn't speak good English.
And what annoys
Right.
me is people in America say it happened on accident, and it's like that is totally incorrect. It happened by accident. It's a causal relationship, not a spatial position. Like, why? What do you mean on accident? Like it was sitting on top of the accident? What are you talking about?
Good point, actually. Yeah. I never thought about that.
Did you know there are
I'm
certain
just triggered.
That's good. I like that.
certain written languages, I think, where each word is represented by a character. So it's an alphabetic language is like English. I think like Chinese, Japanese is like that, right?
I've always wondered what
I
a
think so,
Chinese
yeah.
keyboard looks like.
So each
Look,
word
we should
has
all
its own
just
character.
use Unicode and call it a day, all right? Like we should just ASCII it up and
You have to
just
memorize
talk
all of them, though.
talk in hexadecimals all the time. That's what we should
We're
do.
gonna be in our own headspace soon, so we'll
Yeah.
just be talking in code.
Zuckerberg is
I
my
mean,
Lord.
Egyptian-
Zero, one,
Egyptian
one,
hieroglyphs
zero.
and Unicode would have a certain similarity.
Maybe. Anyway, I'm gonna blame Tux for making me hungry. I'm gonna go get something to eat. But it's been a blast, guys. It's been really fun. So yeah, thank you all. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
And I will catch you all later.
See you,
Have a
Mark.
good one, Mark.
Hey,
Always
Mark,
good to see you.
before you go, real quick.
Oh, he said, "Fuck you,
I mean,
Tux. I'm out of
You
this
might be
bitch."
back.
You
might have
made
heard
me
you, I don't
hungry.
know. So, wait, hold on. I'm sharing the
Oh,
wrong
yeah.
screen.
Was it?
I was
Oh,
sharing.
thought
No,
it
because I
was
switched to a
before.
different screen that's close with a better picture, and I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. Why is this not? Okay, so then let me. Come on.
That
There we go.
keyboard?
Yeah, that's what a Chinese keyboard looks like. Her
Oh,
doesn't
thank
look
you.
all that special.
Alright,
Yep,
guys.
there he
It
is.
You
doesn't.
said before I go.
Oh yeah, Mark. I mean, Tux.
You had said something about Titan Uranus doing something on my stream the other night, or on your. I missed something.
I mentioned your stream briefly because you did the that woman who was saying that she was praying away illnesses kind of thing, and so I referenced that stream.
Oh, okay.
I think it was on Amy Newman's channel, actually. I think
I did it on mine. When you
I was on Amy's
bumped.
channel, and I sort of said, like, somebody did this amazing video about this woman that thinks, like, because she was kind of like, and this is what I got to get on. Everyone, like, it was like, oh, you pray this illness away, and then it comes back. Like your kids have a cough, you pray it away, and then it comes back. And I'm like, this woman is just a transmission vector creator. Like, what are you doing? Like, she's like, oh, just pray the cough will go away. You send your kids to school. It'll come back. But, and it's like, what are you doing, lady?
Seems like it's about as successful as my asthma theory.
I don't know. It was baffling. But you remember doing that stream, right, Tux? That
Yeah, I did it
red-headed
Tuesday.
woman? Yeah. I found it. It was very good. I found it awesome because it was just like, it just shows the sort of the thinking of some of these people. They're sort of, oh, well, I won't go and see a doctor if I've got an ailment. I'll just pray for it. And then, it'll come back. And I just have to keep praying for it to go away. And it's like,
Dangerous.
you'll probably have a chronic illness and are living in
They're
denial.
only
right
helping
now.
the virus.
Yeah, it
Well,
was
I
funny
mean-
because her whole point of it was, these are the things that we can overcome, but the fact that I had that clip that Dr. Josh says, you see these kind of things, and it's basically blaming the victim.
Right.
When there's the miracle healings going on, and they're not the ones that get healed. If even the placebo effect doesn't work, now I'm adding it to the video because that's not in the video, but basically, a lot of times you can heal things in your body, sometimes with the power of positive thinking. Your body sometimes has the inability to recognize that there is an issue and then recognizes there is an issue and goes and heals it. Sometimes it tries to
doesn't,
figure out the recipe to fix it, and it takes a while. But when you don't get healed and they blame you for the manifestation of Satan, or they blame you for not having enough faith, or they blame you for God's punishment and wrath upon you, like a Job story, that it kind of has an effect of
drop y'all. Peace.
See you.
Yeah.
So I just don't know how to express to the Christian that's been duped by this how they need a savior from the savior they worship. And that's basically the long and short of the miracle healings of certain things.
Yeah, and I mean they're always praying. This is the thing, like sometimes you get like, a cold or a cough that lasts like half a day kind of thing. And it's if you're praying every time that happens, then you're saying, well, I need to pray for it to happen, but you're not seeing if it just goes away without it, right? So I guess you could put forward to them, hey, a few times try not praying and see if it goes away. And then if it does, well, maybe it's not prayer that's the cause. But these people, they're so set in their ways. But yeah, no, I did mention your stream, Tux. I thought it was a really good stream. I was there with Bree and a few other people, and it was I think Titan was there, yeah. And it was really interesting just to see the mindset of people that substitute prayer for sort of medicine essentially, and the problems that could cause. It was good.
Speaking of which, Mark, you did a stream on this, on something very similar. This was months back, about those who were declining medical care because they thought God would heal them. This was like probably 8 months ago or something like that. Or maybe it was the parents not taking their kids to the doctor.
Yeah, that was sort of built into the whole exorcism thing, like people doing exorcisms instead of getting proper mental health treatment kind of thing. And which so fundamentalist Christians, there's a massive underreporting in mental health issues because they don't see it as a mental health issue. They see it as a spiritual issue. So right. And so some of the in my research for this one debate on just sort of exorcisms, like the number one indicator if you have mental health problems is if you believe in demons or not, among young people kind of thing. So if you're young and you believe in demons, that is the number one correlate to having mental health problems. Now it's probably not that causing it. I'm not saying that's the cause, but the fact that they don't seek treatment and instead go to the church kind of thing. And like you were saying, Tuck, there's a whole bunch of stuff. If you don't get better after going to the church, it's your fault because you don't have enough faith, and you're submitting to the demons and all of these things. And a lot of shame associated with that. And that's what I find particularly troubling, whether it be a physical ailment or a mental health issue. There's a lot of shame associated in Christianity because you have been, you have an evil in you kind of thing. It's not that, this has happened and it's due to a trauma. Right, blame the victim.
Victim shaming.
You have opened yourself up to demonic influence because you did something wrong. How can you tell you did something wrong? Because you got sick. Because if you were really right with the Lord, you wouldn't get sick, and that's, it's such a horrible thing for people to take on, especially when they have, in the thing that I was doing, mental health issues, that they're also blaming themselves and shaming themselves as well, which of course, is a vicious cycle. It's going to get worse if you're blaming yourself for that. So yeah, I did a whole bunch on that because, I came across a few instances in my research where people with genuine issues were sort of killed during exorcisms and stuff. It's a really, gruesome, horrible, and not often talked about in the Christian faith that people die of exorcisms that, we know don't do anything. There's no demons.
There was even a movie based on that, the Exorcism of Emily Rose, I think is what it was.
Right, and that was based upon Annalise Michel, in Germany who had dissociative epilepsy. So she was already diagnosed with dissociative epilepsy when they did that, and she starved to death because part of the exorcism process is starving and sort of malnourishing the demon so it can't get sustenance, and she died, and it was a real caterpillar. Hey, Bug. The caterpillar is amazing.
I know they're joining us. We're about to wrap it up too, because I gotta go to sleep.
Look, we all appreciate Kata. They are amazing. They're just absolutely amazing person who
Absolutely.
Lots of love, Kata. So that was for a debate, and I sort of went down that rabbit hole and found all this disturbing stuff. We've got to get out of this medieval thinking. I saw recently a nurse like this. She's sort of an emergency nurse. Works sort of in the ER. They had a Jehovah's Witness come in and refused a blood transfusion kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they're sort of trying to convince them that they've got to have this blood transfusion. I think after an hour they relented kind of thing and said, all right, fine, I'll have it. And they died because it was too late at that point. They'd changed their mind too late, and it was just, if they'd gotten the transfusion straight away, in all probability, like I can't say for sure, but all probability is that they would survive, and it's just, so when you sort of go, well, religion does not do any harm, we can point out these instances of definite harm that it does. Like, there is no question that is, when you're refusing a blood transfusion and your life's in danger, that is definitively harm that your beliefs have done. So yeah. Anyway, I'm getting really hungry, so I'm gonna
go eat.
Love you all.
Everyone else give him 5 more questions.
Yeah. Thanks,
Look,
Mark.
I'm blaming Tux for making me go, and then Tux for bringing me back. It's all
Yo-yo. You're a yo-yo.
No, all good, Tux. All good, mate. Love you, man. I did great stream the other day. I've got to give you shout outs more because you're doing a great job. But take